So a common response or a common reaction I get to all the time about monk life is that this life is boring. And for me, I wanted to take this time to kind of explain, not to convince anyone of anything, but to give us context of why would someone want to live a monk life? Doesn't that look boring, where you see them just meditating, they don't do anything, or in your perception they don't do anything? How can someone actually enjoy that? So for me, I wanted to take the time to give some insight, maybe from just our own experience of how someone can benefit from this lifestyle and what actually attracts someone and where they can enjoy their time here in monkhood. But first, I think we need to define what is boring. And boring, in the definition, is just something that's not interesting or something that's tedious. And when someone comments about monk life being boring, my response to that would be, yes, it can be. It depends who's looking at it and what lens you're going at it. If the definition is that monk life is not interesting, yeah, if you're not interested in it, it might not be for you. But for me, this is just to give, again, like I said, insight of why someone would come into this lifestyle. So let's explore what is considered fun in the outside world, in the physical world. And many people, can say that fun typically is going shopping. Shopping is fun. You get to look at new clothes, you get to buy new things. Traveling is fun. Going to see different sites and different locations, and people enjoy that, and there's nothing wrong with that. To some people, they like to socialize and they like to go to parties. They like to drink, they like to dance, and again, there's a fun element to that. And for me, coming as a background as a professional dancer, I can say that was very enjoyable. To be on the different stages around the world, to perform in front of a crowd, to be dancing in Mexico to screaming people because they enjoy that environment. Going to dance at clubs and perform and interacting and socializing. Yes, there's an excitement factor to all of that. To some people, going to the beach is fun. Going to the gym is fun. And I definitely miss that, because living in California for us was, we needed to look good and we wanted to look good, just because of the environment at that time. Then, if you take at the monk life, and you see that all of those things are removed. I can't get in my car. I can't even drive. I can't just travel somewhere on my own. I just can't go out there and buy food. I can't do these things that people have the luxury of doing. So when you just see monks just sitting there in nature and just going on alms offering, doing chanting and meditation, how possibly can that be fun? So for me, I had access to all those kind of things, and I was living an so-called like an exciting life and very adventurous and very fun life. But for me, something was always still missing. And I think being in monkhood, for me, now I can see that what we're after is something more permanent. We just understand that those kind of things are fleeting. And again, this is not a judgmental call on anyone's lifestyle, but for us, it's just wanting to find something that is more real. I think we just understand that when in life it's just impermanent, that there are really high ups and there are really low lows. When you go to a party, in that moment, very exciting. But then what happens when you come home and you're by yourself and you're like, I'm bored? Or when people are in a relationship and it's very fun, honeymoon stage, and again, everything is exciting, but then there's also another part where maybe when you're single, then you're suffering. And it's like these peaks and valleys. And for us, just one more example. For me, when I was working with clients at the drug treatment center, clients who were using ecstasy. And at that time, come on, with these kind of drugs, it's in the name. It's ecstasy, and you have this really high up, but also we see the clients, they call it also a Tuesday drug. because on Tuesday it's when people come down and they're really at their lowest. So then you need this high to get back up again, and then there's a low. So again, you just keep using and you try to maintain that high. But for us, we're just saying, yeah, there's ups and lows. And again, not a judgmental thing for anyone's lifestyle, but we just want to find something deeper. And instead of clinging and attaching and chasing this really high peak place that is fun or exciting, but because we know there's also a bottom to it, so instead of going up and down, you're happy because you're in a relationship, and when it's no longer there, then you're really sad. But instead of doing that kind of lifestyle, for us, we just want to be middle way, being in the center, so we don't ride when things are so exciting and flashy and fun. Okay, we don't cling to that, because we know when you do, then automatically you'll cling to the very bottom as well. So when you're single and your job is not paying you as much, your identity where you're not as powerful and strong, then you're suffering. So for us is, we don't have much, but we also don't cling too much, then we also don't suffer so much. So for us, it's in this neutral space. And also another point regarding fun is, it's just people's different values. You know, you talk to parents, it's funny because you talk to parents who have young children and it's their anniversary. And for them, they're like, their idea of fun in that moment with their situation is, many parents will say, I just want to sleep. I just want an empty house, no children, and I just want to quiet. I want to sleep, I want to rest, I want stillness. So again, people value different things at different times. But in the monk life, for us is, we just want to find something deep. Something in that it's not external. Because when those things aren't there, when those things are changing, when those things are impermanent, then we suffer. But can we take the time to go inside, to develop real happiness, to develop real joy and real gratitude and a meaning and a purpose for life? And for us in this monk lifestyle, that's what we're after. So when we live such a simple and basic life, again, things are not grand, things are not big, we don't have much, but when you're, it's strange, because when you're in that environment where you have nothing and someone gives you something and they offer, like for example, just yesterday we had some lay supporters who took the time, faith in Buddhism, and want to support the monks and our practice, and then they took the time to offer us ice cream. And for us, because we don't have that option of being picky and choosy, and we get something nice, and knowing who it came from, the intention of where it came from, and people just wanting to support us, and it just feels so amazing. So it wasn't expensive, it wasn't grand, it wasn't anything like that, but for us, it just gave us a different kind of joy, where just less is more. And we always talk about simple is best, and just something to someone that has so much. If someone just offered from the pureness of their hearts and they just gave you an ice cream bar, you might not see that so much. But for us in this kind of lifestyle is, we just train ourselves, and when things are offered to us, we're just completely happy. And when it's not offered to us, we can be happy there too. So we try to eliminate that expectation. So this is kind of the benefit of when you live a simple, a very small life. But it's strange because each day you just wake up and you're just content. I don't know how to describe it, because back home I was working so hard towards these things. And when I was working so hard towards these things, I needed to work even harder towards these things. And I had more wants and desires and cravings, and never satisfied. So in monkhood, it's just this kind of difference in like satisfaction. satisfaction, and I don't want to sound like cheesy, fluffy, none of that, but really from my experience is then you start to enjoy this moment. You start to enjoy your own company. You start to slow down your mind. You start to slow down your cravings, and then you look around and you're like, wow, I have so much. Wow, I'm in nature. Wow, I have my health. Wow, I have the ability to be a monk. I have a place to live in. I have all my basic necessities. And that's good enough for me. Another element that I can point out is that sometimes when we are searching for happiness and we're looking outside of ourselves for that happiness, it's difficult to stay still. It's difficult, and some people will need to keep chasing. And you need your next high or your next activity, your next relationship, your next whatever it is that you're needing or wanting to feel whole. And that's why we have this rising of people who are lost, and people who struggle with mental health issues, and people who want something deeper. Something is missing and they're not fulfilled. Well, what is that? What is that? And I think in monkhood, that's what we're trying to answer. And for us, our answer is really, the key is to get still. The key is when you're trying to find purpose and meaning and happiness, all these buzzwords that people use, is just, do you find it outside or do you find it inside? And our answer is that we find it inside. And that's why this lifestyle is designed the way it is. We have 227 precepts, or 227 rules to protect us, to protect our mind, because otherwise it will always be chasing. That's why we practice generosity, and we just give. We give through the Dhamma, we give through blessings, we give through our time and effort. And then the last thing is for us is the meditation. Every single day we need to sit down. We need to still our mind, because we know that every interaction that we have with people out there, any interaction that we have with anything, with animals, with pets, then our mind attaches to it, it clings to it. It gets dirt in the mind. So for us is every day, take the time to get still, like a glass of water, and allow all the debris, all the dust to settle down to the bottom. And when that happens, you start to see more clearly. You start to be able to breathe. You start to be here in this present moment. So this, what I described to you, is just the threefold training of Buddhism. And that is to keep your morality, the 227 precepts in our case, to do the dana and giving, and then also to meditate. And this is the training system here. And it feels very amazing, and to be able to live a life where you train yourself to have 227 precepts and you're just purifying your mind, where it's clean and clear, to not have agendas against people, to not be able to have to feel like you need to compete with someone or to take someone down to be successful, but really just in this moment, I'm content. I don't need anything. And the Buddha said this, the highest success, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but the highest is just having a sense of inner peace, having a peaceful mind. That's the highest happiness. And for me, I feel like in monkhood, that feels real. This feels real, where I can just sit here, I can just breathe. I don't have the burdens, I don't have the heaviness, I don't have the pressure and the expectations that I had before in my lay life. And in this moment, again, I can just genuinely say that this makes me happy. So again, I just wanted to take the time to share that, not as a comparison or putting anyone's life around or to make you come here to become a monk. No, that's not the intention of this at all. But to see how someone can have nothing, but yet still be happy. And I think the word happiness for us, we would replace that with peacefulness. And in this moment, we're at peace. So I hope that clarifies some of these things. So thank you.